Parent Entrepreneur Power, conversation number 177.
Parent Entrepreneur Power.
Wait, what? Entrepreneur Power!
This is the podcast for parents juggling the tough choices required for success in business while putting family first. Hi, I'm Mary Catherine Johnson, and I share the ups and downs and dirty truths of profits and potty training while chatting with successful parent entrepreneurs from all walks of life. Are you powered up? Hey there, Power Parents. You know who I am, Mary Catherine Johnson. Welcome to the conversation again. I can't believe we're coming up to 200 conversations with incredible parents in business. Every day, I just wake up going, how in the world did I get so lucky? And I am so absolutely blessed to be able to chat with such incredible people. And this person I get to bring you today, I don't know what it is. When you just connect with people, you just connect. My guest today and I met through a Facebook group. And from that moment on, I've almost been talking to her every day. And that was probably over a month to 2 months ago now, maybe even longer. I don't remember. Time flies when you're having fun. So, but if a day goes by when I don't talk to her, I miss it. So I can't wait to introduce you to a dear friend of mine, again, over just the last couple of months. How can you say that? But you can. Michelle Bridger, founder of michellebridger.com. She is a Facebook advertising expert, and boy, is she ever. Hey there, Michelle. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. And I just have to echo what you said. It has just been such a fun relationship, and you are just a delight. So I've enjoyed learning from you and visiting with you.
Oh, that's sweet of you. Thank you. All right. So our little love fest is just going to continue. So just hang on for the ride, people. But, we always start in the same place. We ask everyone their once upon a time story. And we know stories always continue, but let's bring it up to at least present day. So how did you get into this whole parenting and entrepreneur journey? Did the kids come first or the business?
Kids for sure. So I was a stay-at-home mom for 19 years. And I lived on a ranch in Texas. We had 73 beautiful acres, and we had just had all these incredible animals of every sort. We even had a squirrel named Rocky that actually lived in the house and roamed free. And goats that lived on the porch for a while. So it was quite a menagerie. And just really loved raising my kids on the ranch. And then divorce struck. Mm-hmm. And it was really traumatic. And I needed an income, and I needed it fast. And I still had kiddos at home. And I was actually still homeschooling 2 of them. And so it had to be an income from home. So I'm a praying woman. And so this was really bathed in constant prayer of, lead me, guide me. And since I'd been a stay-at-home mom, I though I had a college degree, I didn't want to go back to what I had my degree in, and didn't really know what skills I had. So that was one of my prayers, like, show me even what my skills are. What would I be good at? I really didn't know. And so there was a breadcrumb of trails that led me all along. And I had started a business that was doing pretty well. It was actually a network marketing. And I took a Facebook advertising course about how to market it. Now, this is the irony, because I wasn't on Facebook previous to this. And I actually, I got to tell myself, like, judgmental, like, how do people even have time to be on social media? Like, really? Like, what? And so here I am taking a Facebook advertising course, and I just loved it. They explained that there was such incredible potential, that it is the best way in the online market to really accelerate the growth of a business fast, like nothing else. And the results were measurable. And I found that so fascinating, because in so much of the advertising that I'd seen previously, it really wasn't measurable. To put a billboard up along the side of the road, how do you measure whether that's working or not? When you put an advertisement in a magazine, how is that measurable? But in Facebook, truly, you can tell your exact return on investment. I love that. So I was super fascinated. By then, I was in a business mastermind, and I had colleagues that were reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I'm doing a webinar. Would you launch it for me?" And yes, yes. And so I just, people after people, client after client, just started to just hire me people to do their advertising, and I quickly dropped what I was doing as a business and became a Facebook advertising agency, and really was just thrilled with the success that I could help businesses achieve. And again, very quickly, because you put their ad right in front of those people that would be most interested, and you speak directly to them. And I just love that about it. So I've been able to work with the best and the brightest in the online industry and really help to accelerate their growth. One lady in particular, I took her from 6 figures to 7 figures within a year's time. And it's just been a joy. It's been fun.
Wow, what an amazing journey so far. And again, I say so far because it's going to continue. So one of the places that I would really like to go back to in that story that you mentioned is that concept of breadcrumbs. So you mentioned you were praying, you were trying to figure out what you wanted to do, what you could do, and there was just this little trail of breadcrumbs that you just followed piece by piece. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Can you get a little closer view to that? What kinds of breadcrumbs were they, and why did you pick them up? What prompted you to pick them up to lead you to where you are now?
That's a good question. So there were several opportunities that I looked into along the way, and something would present itself. And so I like to ask yes or no questions and get quiet and listen. Do I have more peace with that? Do I feel unsettled about that? And I don't have a perfect way of doing this, but really presenting that prayer to the Lord of, is this the right path? Is this a yes? Do I feel good about this? Is my excitement growing about this path? And if it's not, then it may be a no. So it's about really getting quiet and really listening. And so as opportunities would come up, I'd be like, is this a yes? Is it a no? And that's sort of the breadcrumb trail that it leads me along. So when I was presented with that Facebook advertising course originally, I just felt like a yes in my spirit. And then actually that one was about how to advertise your business. But then right after that, it was how to do Facebook advertising as an agency. And so then that was the next yes. I'm like, yes, I'm super excited. So that's a little bit more about the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the reason I ask that is because so many times I have my past and the way I've come on this journey for myself and landed where I am is really from not just those little choices, but from some major life impact, like the divorce, like you mentioned. There was a major life change that happened that made me just stop because I didn't sit and listen. So it made me stop in my tracks and go, what the heck is going on? And take stock of what's happening and make a decision. And so people come to me and ask, well, gosh, I didn't have that major issue that you talk about, this major life change. I've only had, just a regular life and quote, normal life, whatever that means. And how do I know what direction I should take if nothing major has hit me over the head? So I love talking to people like you who have a situation when you just dropped that little bomb there and said breadcrumbs. I had to take it because I know there are people listening in the audience that have a situation similar, that maybe that major life change, whatever it was, baby being born, marriage, divorce, moving houses, whatever, maybe that wasn't really the impetus to do something different. But there are little cues that are just tapping them on the side of the head going, hello, here's an opportunity. And they're looking at themselves going, how do I distinguish whether that's something I should do or not? And I love how you explain that, to just sit and absorb it. Sit with it in peace, in silence, look inside and say, is this a yes or is this a no? And, you could do that every day, 50 times a day, right? Because we have so many things, right, that we have to do and change and make decisions on. But these are opportunity decisions, not just, am I going to have eggs for breakfast or yogurt, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So these are
yeah.
opportunities when they present themselves. When you see that online course and you're going to be like squirrel and go off and check it out, stop for a minute. Is this a yes or a no? Before you dive in, is this really a direction that I need to spend some time on right now or not? Even if you just go to that extent before you even discover and details of the course, just think, is this something that I can spend my time on? Because our time is all we have all day to figure out what we're doing. So thank you for kind of giving us a direction on that. I know that will help people. Okay, so then you're now a Facebook ads expert working with amazing people. And tell me about the kids along that journey. How old are they now, and what's going on, with the kids and your business now?
Okay, so now my kids are 14 and 16. So the divorce happened 6 years ago. So it's in the last 6 years that I've been a single parent, and my big trap in that is that I have this huge tendency to be a workaholic. So it's been very difficult for me to draw boundaries. And I've done actually a poor job of that at times. Like, we'll go on vacation. Well, Michelle doesn't go without her laptop. So, but I've gotten much, much better, much, much, much better. And better at defining those times that are off times. And I have much, much more support in place than I did when I first started my business. So I have quite a team underneath me, and an assistant and Facebook advertisers underneath me. And I'm much more supported than what I was in the original time. But that's been an issue that I've just looked at again and again and again and again, like why do I tend to be a workaholic? How can I get more support so that this isn't in the way? Why do I have the control issues to feel like I'm the only one that can do this? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there's issues behind that issue. And I've looked at that and still need to look at that because I'm a recovering workaholic. So that's been one of the biggest challenges, is really being able to turn work off. And Facebook advertising is one of those things where it really is hard to turn it off, because ads take a lot of tweaking. And that, sometimes you really can hit it out of the ballpark with Facebook ads right off the bat, and it's beautiful and it's amazing, and everybody brags about their low-cost leads. But other times it just takes sheer tenacity to keep refining the offer, looking for the right target, and finding that right image, and just putting all the pieces that have to be together into a symphony. And then boom, you get where you're wanting to go. So that's a little bit about the process, and I'd say my biggest struggle.
Yes, and I think I know a little bit about that. So I second that notion. But thank you for being honest and sharing some of the changes that you're making and going through and adapting with and recovering from, and all those words, because I've been there as well. I've totally been there as well. I remember a time when I had a phone call that I was in the recruiting industry, and I was working from home part-time. And my first son was probably 2 years old. And I had to take this phone call from a prospective client, or at least I thought I had to. And I ducked out the front door and left my 2-year-old in the house, and he was watching TV, and I had my ear to the door, one ear to the door and one ear to the phone. And I remember hearing him calling for me through the house, and I'm just dying inside because I'm outside talking to a prospective client, which of course I didn't get. They didn't buy, they didn't hire me. And my kid is inside looking for me, starting to get a little frantic. Where's mom? It was awful. It was terrible. And I vowed to myself I would never, ever do that again. I ended the call, came in, scooped him up. Obviously he wasn't as traumatized as I was.
Yeah.
But it was a wake up call to me to say, woman, what the heck are you doing? Are you home with your kid or are you not? And do you have to take this call or do you not? And really prioritizing what it is I had to do and trying to set, like you say, those boundaries. And I didn't get it right every time. That is for sure. It's a process, and I deal with my own egocentric issues, right? Are they going to like me if I don't take the call? Am I going to lose the sale? Am I going to, all those things that are part of my past. So how did you balance that? And I hate that word balance, so let me rephrase it. How did you prioritize that? How did you take the breadcrumb of the realization that you needed to make a change and follow that to where you are now?
What have I put in place? Again, it's been team and it's been support. And then also, there was a franticness when I first started of really, 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 really proving myself. And in Facebook ads, you can get great results, but there's always like, can I even get one step better? And there was so much fear around clients. And I've come out of a lot of that. So it's about good is good enough. So I'm still, over the top zealous about getting exceptional results. But there's a point where good is good enough.
Right.
And then relying better on my team and setting better boundaries. Like the laptop just doesn't get to go with me everywhere anymore. Sometimes he has to stay at home. And that I can rely on my team more and don't have to control everything. And then also I'm good about always having special time with my kids on every weekend. So we'll go to Starbucks. I'll throw the football with my son. We'll go for walks together and really prioritizing those times so that I get the one-on-one time with each of them and kind of have that date kind of time. Mm-hmm. And that's really important. And I make that a priority.
Well, especially with their ages, if they're 14 and 16, you're not going to have that for much longer because mine are 15 and 18. And once they start driving, it's really, it changes the whole dynamic. And they really do start getting their own life, so to speak, and wanting to go do their own thing with their own friends. So, that our time is limited. I'm in my exit strategy with my kids, just like businesses. Mm-hmm. They're getting ready to go out into the world and obviously check back with me. I can't imagine life without them. And that would never happen. But there will be days when I don't hear from them for a couple of days, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. And I'll be probably texting them in the beginning, hey, what's up?
Remember me. Don't forget.
Yeah, it's really a reverse. They chase us when they're little, and then we chase them. So, yeah. But that special time, being able to set those boundaries and also have a team, and I love how you put that franticness because that's really what it is. So I imagine, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that you kind of got beat up with those emotions before you finally let go of that franticness. Do you know what I mean by beat up? I mean, you went through that roller coaster of, am I good enough? Am I not good enough? Is this working? Is it not working? Can I do better? Can I not do better? That kind of beat up that way. Is that right?
Yes, for sure. And a lot of stress. Oh, baby, a lot of stress. And there is a lot of stress in what I do because it is centered around launches. So most of the work that I do has to do with a launch. And so when all eyes are on the Facebook advertiser for the success or the failure of a campaign. And so there is a lot of success. There has been a lot of success, but the eyes are on you that you're going to make them or break them. And so just so much stress. And there comes a confidence that comes along the way. So that as I'm more able to recognize a good offer right from the start, I'm more able to see this is going to work right from the start. There's just a maturity and a confidence that comes with the knowledge base that I have now, and that's helped to not have as much franticness. Being able to better plan and work with my team, and we have systems in place, and we know in our project management system what comes next, and everybody's on the same page. So that has helped. I think that it's just been a process.
Right. It's kind of like kids, isn't it? I mean, when you first have a child, your world is just turned upside down, and you have no confidence. Is this a cough, or do they have cancer? I mean, it's really, we go that extreme with our child. Yeah. And then as they grow and they fall and they scrape and they survive, we get that confidence again that everything's okay. And we know when the cry is, we need attention now. And we know when the cry is, you can handle it. Right? It's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It really is. That's a great analogy.
Business and parenting. It really, if we can handle parenting, we got business. No worries. All right. So now where are you going now? So how is this all? So tell me a little bit about your business if you can. So over the last 6 years, how long have you actually had MichelleBridger.com, the Facebook ad expert business, the agency? How long has that been going on?
It'll be 4 years in September.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So now I have a digital course that I've launched, and that I'm launching again to help people who are launching online courses, because their needs are a little bit more specific than just a broad Facebook advertising course. So that's a focus of mine. It's a focus of mine to keep adding on more team and to outsource even more of it so that I can stay even more at the CEO level. Right. So I love what I do, and I enjoy it a lot, and I'm looking for staying in the role of the areas that I enjoy even more so, and outsource the rest.
So that's where you came in, because just like Facebook ads experts are all over the place, they can specialize in different things. So I think, Power Parents, you can take a look at this and realize, I'm sure if you're on Facebook at all, that you have seen many people who claim to be or are Facebook ads experts. And you're speaking with one right now, or listening to one right now, who's very successful, and she is not a generalist. Did you hear what she just said? She is focusing on people who want to launch online courses. That is very specific. So tell me why you chose that niche, so to speak, and how you came to that decision.
Well, the niche sort of chose me. It's where I landed, but it's a good thing. It was just a blessing that came along. Those were the first people that were reaching out to me, and the people around me in that mastermind were launching digital courses. And that's where my expertise was, and I was trained in. So it ended up to be a natural fit. But I also love the adrenaline rush of a launch. So I may not say that in the middle of a launch, but but I really do love the opportunity that a launch brings. And by launch, I mean like you get a team, or a big or small team together, you plan it, you put a fair amount of Facebook advertising, and you put all your attention into, we're going to go big. And about 3 weeks later, you have X amount of revenue from that. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of strategy, there is a lot of work that goes into that. And then you have this little sack of money, or sometimes a very big sack of money at the end. And it's a successful model. There are people who love that and do that over and over again. And there are people that will do that, and then they'll take their course and put it into an evergreen webinar and just run that. And we've done lots and lots of both models. So I'm thinking about your original question that you asked. And there. Well, and why the specialty is I really like it. I really like the opportunity, and I see that with digital courses, like nothing else, you can scale and leverage your business. So I just like the opportunity. I love the energy. I love my clients, and I love their interacting with their teams. So I work with really great people, and they have warm and generous hearts. There are other places that Facebook advertisers can specialize in, like digital, not digital, but e-commerce, etc. I really think that there's a big benefit to working with a Facebook advertiser that has a specialty. And when they get too broad, um, I think I would look for someone with a specialty. It will benefit you.
Right. Well, just like your business. I mean, if you're trying to hit e-commerce and online courses and evergreen webinars and all those things, you're not going to hit any of them as a bullseye. You're going to spread yourself too thin. So it's the same with the people you hire. If you can possibly find someone with an expertise in what you do, that you'll be that much more successful. So, wow. All right. So power parents. And Michelle, we call ourselves power parents because we do already have the power. If we're a parent, as I've already said, we can handle business because we've handled some pretty amazing situations as parents and decisions, and we're responsible for this little human life. So a business is nothing compared to that. So that's why we call ourselves power parents. We have the power. So let's use it and apply the knowledge and the skills and the experience we have as parents into our business life. So take us into this world. If you can get a little more specific for me, because I know, again, the people in the audience have heard many times, hire a team, outsource, create systems, all those words, but they don't really know how to do it or how it works. So how did you go from frantic first-timer trying to do everything yourself and figuring it all out and taking the course and then jumping into the agency to 4 years later, a team, systems, and loving what you do? What were the first few steps you had to take to get there?
So that's a great question. One of the first things that I did was that there was a young lady that I knew. She was 20, and I just knew her to be very responsible, very bright, and I just hired her to be my assistant. And I had her first doing more personal type of things. I'm not exactly coming up with a great thing, but she wasn't running my ads yet, but she was doing smaller things for me. And then as she grew in that responsibility, she was doing some setting up ads for me with my oversight. And that was a really nice shift. I didn't have to pay her a lot. And she was super glad to have the expertise, to be learning a skill and expertise in an area. And it was a really good fit and a really great way for me to start. I also was then, some of the first things I was outsourcing was house cleaning. That was a fun one. I love that. And then also, eventually, I was even outsourcing at times food preparation because I have someone who was very able to do that. So that one has been, I love good food, but I don't necessarily like to spend time in the kitchen.
Right.
So that was one. And then it just became a series of trial and error. There's been a number of people that I've had on my team over the years, and it hasn't always been easy, but I've just had to stay tenacious looking for the right fits. A book that has helped me tremendously in that way is the book Who. And it walks you through the exact questions to ask in an interview so that you can compare different interviewees and get the results that you want, like the knowledge in order to make a really competent decision. And that's really revolutionized my hiring, and I really recommend that book.
So it's just the title Who.
Who.
All right, Power Parents, that'll be in the show notes. You know that. The link to that. That's fantastic. Now, as a former recruiter, I have lots of questions that I ask. Some of them kind of mean, to be honest. I mean, I really want to put people in situations that to find out really how they would handle it, not just how they think they'd handle it or say they handle it, but how they really do. And Wow. Okay. So you started with an assistant that you knew that was that started with one thing. She didn't do the cooking and the cleaning, obviously. But you outsourced that to other people, I'm sure.
Right. Mm.
And then once that cooking and cleaning freed you up for time, then you were able to focus that on building the business more. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Totally makes sense. And then what about systems? Give me a little bit more about systems. How did you come to your systems? Because I know you work in a program called Teamwork, and I think it's an awesome program. I've used Slack. I've used Pipedrive, Trello, all these kinds of things. What brought you to the systems that you use today?
Okay. So I couldn't do what I did do without a project management system. And I just really recommend that if you have not used a project management system or are not using one, you really are hurting yourself, that you just cannot manage a business just through email. So email is the place that I fall and that I have to stay out of. So I really recommend that you look into a project management system. I use Teamwork. I used to use Basecamp, but it wasn't hefty enough for what we needed. So I've hired project managers, especially one was especially good at setting up systems for me. So she set it up so that when we bring on a new client, all we have to do is import a list, a spreadsheet of tasks, and assign who's going to do it and when it is it due by. And then those auto-populate into tasks. It's brilliant. It's amazing. So I plan to bring on a new project management team in the next couple of months that can even up my systems even more, because that's the key. That's what it's all about, is that my team wants to succeed. They just need to have the resources and it in front of them, and SOPs, which are standard operating procedures. So I have several standard operating procedures in place. What to do when on Facebook ads, really extensive list of that, and sort of a walkthrough for my team, a go-to on that, and then also how to onboard clients and what to do. So I want to have even more SOPs. So it's really a work in progress. I also have to tell myself that sometimes I'll set up a system and I won't be the one that follows it. So I'm a work in progress and my systems are a work in progress, but that is the key for me to find time away from the business and being refreshed. And I will add to that, going back to like getting rid of the franticness. I had this limiting belief, and still I'm working my way out of it. But if I'll just work harder, then and more and longer, then it's going to take care of itself. But really, looking back and now knowing what I know now, was I really needed time away.
Right.
I needed to go for more walks. I love walks. They are my everything. My like walks revive me. They are my exercise, but they're not great exercise, but they're just so important to me for mental health, getting my mind back in the game, just everything. And so I love my walks, but I needed more time away from the business, more playing time, rather than the mentality of just work harder, work harder, work harder. And that was something that I see that I would have changed.
Wow. I love that. I get the sense, and Michelle, I thank you so much for being so real, because I get the sense that what has really contributed to your success is the ability to sit with who you are, look inside, figure out what your next step needs to be, and then jump in and do it, and then learn from the things that didn't work. So like the workaholic part, and just working harder and working longer. We know that doesn't work. I was sitting at my computer, and I'll confess right now, everybody knows I'm doing this whole messenger funnels thing, and I have other businesses that are going on that thankfully I have teams that are doing for me that I haven't even touched. I had to check in on one of my other businesses yesterday just to go, that's right, I do have that other thing going on. I probably should go check on that. And everything's going smoothly, thankfully. But still, yesterday I was sitting at my computer and I was so tired. My eyes could barely stay open. And I just had to look and go, all right, I'm finishing this last email, or I'm finishing this last whatever, typing up whatever I was typing. I just shut it down, put my computer to sleep, and I went and laid on the couch. I just had to get away. My eyes were just, they were telling me, Mary, stop. And, we have to do that sometimes. So this was a situation where I had to finish this up and I was tired already, blah, blah, blah. But you do have to leave and step away and rejuvenate. We are not our computers. Our computers can keep going, but we can't. And we are the operators. So we're going to put garbage in if we try and be a computer. So I get that sense that you have that ability and that you cop to it. You're okay with it. I mean, of course it's hard. Of course it's difficult. I'm here to tell you, I don't like admitting things about myself. That wonderful ego monster jumps up every once in a while. But it's true. And the more of us that can do that, the more we can pave the way for others to be okay with it. So I look at this as not perfection, but progress.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right? And I know it doesn't feel good that, to admit that about ourselves many times, but it does in the long run, doesn't it? I mean, doesn't it give us a certain power to own who we are and the fact that we're human?
It does. And that's something that, working on being more gracious to myself and more kind and realizing, it is a progress, going from having no business experience to the really fast growth that I've had has just been tremendous and very gratifying. And just being gentle with myself that it's okay where I am, and I don't need to have hit the 10 million mark yet, but I'm a work in progress and being gentle and accepting of that.
Wow. All right. Well, I don't think we can add any more to that except to say thank you so much for sharing this time with us. I really so appreciate it. And Power Parents, now you can see why Michelle and I have become fast friends. And I know that I will keep her in my world. Whatever I have to do, I will keep her in my world. And I hope you do too. So you can definitely go visit her at michellebridger.com if you're at all interested in what she's talking about. But Michelle, thank you. Thank you so much for spending this time and sharing these amazing insights.
Oh, it was, now I have a frog, but it was my privilege and such a joy to be with you, Mary Catherine.
To get powered up for your day, just go to parententrepreneur.power.com and listen to any one of the over 100 episodes we've had so far with amazing entrepreneurs just like you. It might just help you feel like a grown-up again.